Pink goes good with green.
Goes well with green.
ScreenRant viewers beware! This video contains heavy spoilers for the next Wicked movie.
Don't be afraid.
It's the wizard who should be afraid of me.
Dropping the subtitle Part 2. The final title of the sequel is Wicked for Good. And if this seems confusing, don't worry. It really just means that the sequel will be faithful to the source material. For Good is the title of the most pivotal song in the sequel. Performed in the second act of the Broadway musical, this song is about how Elphaba and Glinda have changed each other for good. Like a comet pulled from orbit or a seed dropped by a skybird, the fates of these best friends are forever intertwined. In the song, the two lament the tragedy of their friendship and how their love endures through it all. This is the one song that fully encapsulates how far Glinda and Elphaba have come because of each other, despite them being so far apart. Another thing that makes For Good crucial is that if Wicked for Good stays faithful to the musical, then Glinda and Elphaba won't have as many scenes together as they did in the first Wicked film. Glinda, Elphaba, and Oz itself will undergo massive changes in the sequel, and the song For Good also reflects this fact, as Elphaba's meddling and Madame Morrible's machinations also changed the land of Oz for good. In a way, the song even evokes Wicked's cultural impact, its popularity forever changing critical readings of The Wizard of Oz. So while there are other iconic songs from Act 2, such as No Good Deed and As Long As You're Mine, only For Good really makes sense as the subtitle for the sequel. It's certainly much more interesting than just Wicked Part 2, which is just too generic for Wicked. Where Part 2 is meaningless, For Good actually tells audiences what to expect. The For Good subtitle is a good sign for lovers of the musical. Perhaps most importantly, the title Wicked. For Good signals to viewers that the sequel will be faithful to the narrative beats and core themes of Act 2. At the same time, the more unique subtitle connotes that it's not just the next part of the story, but a standalone tale in itself. And ultimately, this could imply that Wicked for Good won't be the last movie in the franchise. Could Wicked for Good get a sequel? At this point, it's too early to tell for sure. On one hand, there's no more material from the musical to draw from, and Gregory Maguire's other Wicked books are focused on other characters, not Elphaba and Glinda. On the other hand, depending on the critical and commercial performance of Wicked for Good, Universal could order a sequel anyway. After all, while the ending of Act 2 neatly ties up the saga, it does leave room for more tales about the denizens of Oz. But what do you think? Do you want to see more of this revisionist fantasy saga, or should Wicked 2 end the franchise for good? Tell us your thoughts and theories in the comments, and keep watching ScreenRant.